I wish you a wonderful birthday. So let's get started. It is Kaynichole After Dark. If you've missed any of our past episodes, you can definitely check them out on YouTube. The link is in my bio. We have our tunes playing and we have our drink for the night. Let me take my first sip of the evening and then let's get started. That's good. I love me some Moscato. Just to start off the night, yeah. I love me some Moscato. So, okay. So I can keep up with the time. Okay. So, I picked the topic for this evening because I had listened to an associate of mine had gone on live, and she was definitely in a rant about dating and how difficult it is finding someone, and about the game playing that is done out here and all of that. So, and I've addressed those things, so you can always check those out in past videos. But what she kept on talking about was standards, and I wanted to come to you guys to discuss that because she was like about you know, lowering her standards, or not paying them any attention so that she could date different kinds of guys, because it's it's difficult in dating. It's really difficult, especially for those that are actually trying to find someone. So when she was talking about that, it definitely brought a lot of thoughts to my mind. It was like a whole thing, because I was like, what we're getting confused here, or what I feel people are getting confused, is standards versus preferences. Now, I'm just always, like I said, I'm an educator first, model third, and like everything else in between, right? But our standard, right, is the minimal requirement. What we use for grading, right? That is the standard. When you say having my standards, the standard is what is the minimum, what is the requirement, the basics to be with this person, to date this person, and so on and so forth, right? Our preferences is what we would like, right? But they are not deal breakers. I feel like a standard is more of a deal breaker than anything, and their preferences are just something that you like. I.e., instance, my preference is to date a tall guy, right? It would say like 6 feet or taller, right? That's a preference. Now, if I decided to make it a standard, then that would be on me. But I don't think that people should make standards based on things that don't carry much weight. The only weight that things like how tall they are, or what they look like, and all outer appearances, is based on genetics, right? You have family members that can be super skinny, and then you have family members that they have that are big boned, Alabama fed girls, where there's a difference, right? So the standard is like the minimum, okay? So she was saying, so I would say let me keep it on the I, since I'm talking about myself in accordance. So with my standard, right, I would say that my standard is at least you have to be educated, right? Hey, guys. That's very funny. That's hilarious. I'm going to read it just because I think that's funny. Raphael C. 1944 says, "Hey guys, my name is Quandile Dingle here." I think that's funny. I don't know why, but that's entertaining me because I have a little stuff in my system, so I'm feeling nice. But anyway, right. So a standard is the basic requirement. So when talking to someone that I would counsel, I would say never lower your standard. That a standard is something that a person has to meet. If you're lowering it, it has to be, or changing it, it has to be for really sufficient reason. Like you've changed your mindset, right? It's like, for instance, my standard is I don't deal with men that have children, right? I have no kids of my own, so my thought is, or how I feel is, that if I'm not bringing any children to the table, I don't need a man that is as well. Now, have I thrown that standard out the window? Yes, I have, and it has backfired on me. And that's part of the reason why you should have a standard. A standard is the minimum requirements, right? Like I've been saying. So my standard was, I'm not going to date a man with children, right? But of course, if you're a single lady, or even a guy, I'm sure you've heard them to other females, if you have female friends, is, oh, I don't have baby mama drama, right? That is the retort for any guy that has been turned down when he has a child, right? If she says that he has kids, right? They're like, oh no, I don't date, men that have children. And then be like, oh, that's where it first goes to, right? Is the baby mama drama, right? Now, though that is a good reason to not want to be in the relationship, there's more to it than that, okay? For instance, now instead of thinking, if you're looking for something that's long term, right? You want to say to yourself, do I really want to be in a relationship where I get attached to a young person? Because oftentimes when there are children in the mix, better judgment can be clouded because people fall in love with kids. Kids are awesome, right? They're, for the most part, they're pure lives out here, right? So they tell you like it is and everything like that. Who doesn't love kids, right? So a person can get attached, and if it doesn't work out, how does that affect the child, right? So maybe that's the reason why they don't want to get into a relationship. It might not have anything to do with baby mama drama. It might just have to do with attachment, right? It could also be with time management. Kids are not something, a lot of young parents drop their kids off with whoever and leave for hours at a time, but that's not real life. A lot of parents got to be there. They have to be present in their child's life. So especially if it's a man that's supposed to be doing what he's doing, right? If he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, then that's the kind of guy that you'd want anyway. So if he's handling his responsibilities, he's not going to have that much time. And you might be a person, because you're single, you don't have any kids, that time is of importance to you. So, while he might be having to get the kids to school, you're getting, extra hours of sleep. While he's having to, sign field trips and stuff like that, you might be signing, credit card slips for new stuff that you bought to, for your crib or whatever. So there's reasons personally why I have that standard, and there could be 1,000 reasons why other people have their standards. Passion Inc. says attachment is serious and hurts, especially for the children when there's a breakup. Definitely agree. J Dollars Music says right, or you might not be ready to be a step parent. A on the money, right? Just not ready, to have that type of work, and some people want to feel, and I might sound kind of heartless because I do kind of feel this way, that if I'm going to start that journey, I want it to be mine. I know that sounds, that might be a little, selfish or whatever, but I want to experience it. And this might be because my mother is a stepmom. My mom was a stepmom. So I might feel personally that, yeah, I don't want to do that because, in hearing some of my mom's experiences, they weren't that, all of it wasn't fantastic. A lot of it was trying to get the kid to get close, try to get to love, because not all the kids automatically embrace you, right? Sometimes it's like, F you, you're not my mom, you're not my dad, so who wants to, some people just don't want to deal with that. So they know straight up, I don't want to deal with kids. J Dollar says, I feel that way too, but I honestly try to change that about me. It's up to you, how you feel about that. But but if you know yourself, you know the reason why you have this particular standard. And so I myself tried to overlook that as my standard, right? I was like, you know what? I like this guy and let me try it, right? Did that twice. I did it twice. Both times, not good. Not a positive experience whatsoever. So I don't encourage, from my personal experience to anybody else, I do not encourage lowering your standards. Your standards are there, the minimum requirements that you should have, and you shouldn't change them for anybody. So if your standard is that they need to be college educated and they just graduated high school and that's it, they didn't even go for their GED, then baby, I don't care how cute she looks, I don't care how handsome he is, stick with your standard, because you chose that for a reason. You chose that for a reason. And so I never encourage people to change your standard. No, keep your standards high. Keep your standards where they are. Have people meet them. If they really like you, if they really want you that bad, they'll meet that standard. I know it sounds crazy, but no, if a person really cares for you, then they'll meet that standard. You know, and like I said, it's a standard, not a preference. Okay, preferences are something that can be changed. They're not deal breakers. You know, they could be one or the other. Like, for instance, is it my preference that I cook occasionally? I cook occasionally. I can cook. I more like to make desserts, honestly, than to make real food, because I have such a sweet tooth. So I personally would have a preference for my guy to know how to cook, so we can actually cook together. You know, I like that whole camaraderie thing. So let's cook together, whatever. So that would definitely be my preference. Doesn't mean that's not the standard. Like, he doesn't have to come in chefing it up, Chef Ramsay or whatever case might be. No. Would I like that? Of course, but it's a preference. It's not a standard. Someone said, passionately said, I have no children, so I prefer to date, explore, and invest with a woman without. Yeah, you know, so, but that, I don't know if that's your preference or that's your standard, because you said you prefer. So it sounds like that's your preference, not necessarily your standard, that you don't mind, that you would be willing to date a woman that had kids, you know. And I just feel like when I was listening to her, I felt like, I think a lot of people are throwing caution to the wind when it comes to their standards, because they feel like they won't be able to meet somebody that can hold that standard. And I feel like if that's the case, then you need to get out of the pond that you're in, which will lead me to my Wednesday's video, because Wednesday I'm talking about attracting certain things, because, you know, that's a big part of it too. Oftentimes, you know, we like certain things that are not necessarily good for us. So, Passion Sing says that's my standard. Oh, okay, so that's your standard. So, yeah. So I feel like, yeah, you should never compromise them for something that you're not even sure of, because you want a connection. You know, that's the main thing, right? When meeting people out in this world, is having a connection with them. I'm sorry. And the underwear I have on are not the best right there. Anyway, let me not talk about that. But yeah, so back to, like I said, standards. I was coming here real quick to talk about it. Like I said, I'm doing 2 Kaynicholes after dark, because they cut me off last week. They did not allow me to go live, which it is what it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Probably because the oils and everything like that all day and stuff. So, but appreciate it nonetheless. So I just so when she was just livid. She was just livid, honestly, when I'm talking about her live, because I just felt that people do not understand how important it is to keep a standard. Like there's been times that I have decided to put caution to the wind with certain things, and you really need to write it down. You need to write down. I suggest this, like, write down what is your standards versus what is a preference. Like I said, I feel like your standards are your deal breakers, kind of thing. You know, you want something that's going to be meaningful. I want to encourage people, because I feel like I do have some young people that follow my channel, and I just want to encourage you to find someone that you feel that you can grow with and build with. Okay, your standard should include somebody that you feel that you can grow with. So a standard would be, as far as that is concerned, that a person that wants to grow, that is constantly wanting to learn. Maybe a person that is a reader, because the people that usually like to read, like to explore, like to learn. So, you want to, if that's something that you want to invest in. So I'm just saying, in making your list of your standards, have it be with something that you feel is going to complement you and help you rise to the occasion, because who doesn't want to grow? Who doesn't want to grow? And I feel that if you are, because it's going to be my judgment, but I feel that if you want to stay stagnant, you're definitely limiting yourself, because there's so much more in the world. So I know that's judgment, but I personally feel that way, that you should constantly want to learn. You should constantly want to grow. There should never be at a point where you're like, I have nothing left to learn, or there's nothing else for me to see, or I can't think of any other word that I want to use besides learn, but that's pretty much the general gist of it. Is your standards should be set in stone. Preferences definitely are something that you can change constantly, because it might change. You might say, oh, I want a tall guy, but you meet a short guy, right? And because you meet somebody that fits a particular difference, doesn't mean that you should not check for them, right? And that is something that I changed for myself. Actually, in 2020, I decided that I'm going to date outside of my preferences, right? Because and see what happens. And so far, it's been illuminating. For example, right? I am an ageist. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an ageist. And I did not see myself dating someone that was super young. And I didn't see myself dating someone like super old, but much older than me. My eldest age range is 2 years older than me, right? So I usually date 2 years above or 2 years lower. Recently I dated 5 years younger than me, and that was not nearly a positive experience as I would have liked it for it to be. But then I dated older, right? Much older than me, about 5 years. Another one was 10 years older, right? Those experiences have been different as well. I have definitely learned from them. And still kind of, in a way, it's helping me kind of narrow my standard as far as the age bracket is concerned, because dating too young, the mindset is not where I want it to be, right? I feel that much younger men can be very selfish. They are not really quite learning or know how to handle a partnership, right? But then on the opposite side, right, much older, is I've learned that a lot of the times the guy has a set image in his mind of how he wants his woman to be, and he wants her to fit into that box. And because they are already set in their ways, because they're much older, they just want her to fit nicely and neatly in that box, no questions asked. And that hasn't fared well for me either, because I don't deal with boxes. I constantly break out of them. So yeah, so it just hasn't been so. But you learn by changing, your preferences, or or exploring how those preferences can or cannot affect your life. With dating short men, right? I haven't dated anybody shorter than me in my adult years. When I was younger, I did, but it did make me feel uncomfortable. So it is a strong preference that I date someone that is taller than me. Would I look or check for a person that was shorter than me? Yeah, I probably would still, check for them, see what's up, because again, you can fall in love with somebody, and their size not matter, figuratively and literally. Like it doesn't matter. So if there was a person that I grew to know that I was able to look past their height, then I would definitely, go and check for them. But yeah. But I was ridiculed for dating somebody that was shorter than me. So my tendency to date somebody shorter than me is not going to be as high. It's not going to be as high as I'm being honest. But then again, right, you have to understand what you grow up around and everything like that. My father was a tall, lean, military guy, right? So I do personally have a preference to taller guys, chocolate to a light almond color, and uniform, right? I love a man in uniform, like, so, but that's like, again, my preferences. Have I dated anybody that's been in the military? No. Have I? Yeah, actually I have. I did date a guy one time that was in the military. Okay. Well, you have to DM me then, so I remember, because I'm not going to remember here. So, yeah. So again, if you have, I'm just reiterating hello to those that are, I'm not doing my usual, because it's on Wednesday, so I usually forget sometimes about doing my usual greeting. But hey, for those that are just coming in, welcome to Kaynichole After Dark. I'm your host, Kaynichole. If you've missed any of the past episodes, you can definitely check them out on YouTube. You can definitely check this one out on YouTube when I post it. If you miss it, the Prince Royale. How are you doing, love? I hope all is well with you. I'm a veteran that you could have dated. Really? I didn't even know that. Okay, what branch? I didn't even know you were in the military. That's awesome. Well, thank you for your service. But yeah, so I have, did I just break a toenail? So I have mostly dated guys myself that have been civilians, right? Oh, okay. Army. Hoorah. Okay. Got you. Cool. My father was in the Navy. So had I learned more about different branches, I probably would have gone into the Air Force myself. Yeah, missed you, right? You doing your thing. I'm proud of everybody. Everybody has branched off and continue to do their thing, and it's awesome. Operations Specialist for the Navy. Oh yeah, my military guys. Thank y'all for y'all service. So, and even that, right? So, and dating people that have different backgrounds like that, like dating a military person, right? Is the same. Well, I wouldn't say it's the same as dating a cop, but in the instance, it can be, because they've seen, many can have seen battle, when we're not in peacetime, at least the older cats have, shout out to y'all, have been seen death, have seen certain things in front of them that they don't feel that they can talk about to their loved one, that they wouldn't even understand, and sometimes you're not going to be able to have that kind of a connection the way you would have liked. Like, I'm one of those people that I want to know in and out everything, so oftentimes that probably wouldn't have been for a military guy that may have had PTSD or something like that. Maybe I'm not the best girlfriend or something to have, because I would want to talk about it, I would want to know about it, and they may not be ready, and that's something that I would have to learn to get used to or whatever, that they wouldn't want to talk about it. But in, again, standards and preferences, knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into. And I don't think that a person can set a standard or a preference until you've actually really dated. And so when the young lady that was talking, I believe she was 31. What's my new project? I don't have any new projects right now. I don't have any new projects. I'm just working on some. I was supposed to be working on a book of poems, but I wasn't able to get to that this year. So hopefully me and the 202 kid can do that next year. And just working on my hair oils. So that has been really the thing that I'm working on. Doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Like I said, I probably won't even be doing much modeling, honestly, because I have so much happening for this fall. So we'll see. But I'm always selling my prints and stuff like that. So, and I always have my stuff on my OnlyFans, so you can always check that out or subscribe and see my subscription page. The 202 kid says, coming from DC, I feel that most inner city kids develop PTSD before graduating high school because of the madness that they've seen or experienced. That's true as well. And honestly, that's something that is out of my realm, because I live in Long Island, and yes, there's shootings and killings, but it's not at the rate that it happens in the inner city. So yeah, that's something that I couldn't even imagine. So I would try to empathize as best as I can with that, but yeah, that would be difficult because of seeing those things. So having to talk about even having that, and having a standard is being evenly yoked, in that way. Do I want to have a person that, yes, they say opposites attract, but how much work do you want to put into something like that? Not that a person's going to think about, oh, I want to date a person that's like this or something like that, but sometimes those things matter. What I mean into talking about that, not just talking about inner city versus like the suburbs, but like a person dating somebody that was from a two-parent household from a single-parent household, right? Those that grew up in a two-parent household can see how parents shared the duties, right? They can see how it is to work as a partnership, right? Where a lot of people that grew up in single-parent homes, they saw that their mom handling the day-to-day, and so because I'll tell you right now, right? I was dating a guy that has two girls, right? He has two girls himself. And like I said, dating guys that have kids, right? So, and this is when I learned more things about myself, right? Because how much do I want to share about myself in this instance? I dated, but I was very sheltered in how I dated. So I didn't date a lot, I dated what was like in my proximity or whatever case might be. But now I date outside of my proximity and stuff like that. So I get to see all the different guys and stuff that is out there. And so having those experiences, I say yay and nay on what to date, what not to date, and things of that nature. So, hey girl, how's it going? So in saying a preference or a standard, right, of dating a guy with two-parent household or one-parent household, I know that you can't really say that it's a standard, but maybe you want a preference, right, of a person that grew up in a single family household or a two-parent household. But getting back to my story, because I'm getting myself distracted, he grew up in a single parent household, so he saw his mom do everything. Yeah, he said that she later got married, but she did a lot of stuff on her own, right? So when he got these two young ladies pregnant or whatever, when they said that they had it or whatever, because us females, when we're prideful or we're upset, we're like, you don't have to worry about anything. I got this. You don't have to worry about it for a thing. He took that as she really has this. And so he would be like, oh, she got it, and was hands off in raising his daughters, which he now regrets. But at the time, he thought that, okay, they got this, because my mom was a single mom and she had it, so they clearly have it too. And when he told me this story, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yeah, I would never want to have kids with you, son. Like, no, if that's your mentality. I mean, it may have changed, but the fact that he shared that story with me, and I mean, it could show growth. It could definitely show, the story could have been to show growth. But in my way I took it was that that's alarming that you would ever think that, even if you did come from a single parent household, because I came from a single parent household. My parents divorced after a certain time, and my parents had to work it out. They tried to be amicable as best as they could, but you still see one parent handling most of the stress and the strife. So that's what actually encouraged me to want to have a partnership. Like, I want somebody that wants to mesh with me and us build, because I've seen my mom, struggle by herself. Yeah, my dad was the financier, but at the end of the day, money can only go so far, when it comes to, your children needing extra attention because they might not be doing well in a class or a subject. Let me just read these real quick. 202 kids said they would never get diagnosed before, they will never talk about it. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about PTSD. 202 kids says, could a preference or a type restrict you from someone that could be your soulmate? That's a good question. And I would say a preference, yeah, because it's not something that could make or break. A standard, no. I don't think that if you have your standard that you're going to restrict meeting your soulmate. I don't think so at all, because I feel that if the person wants to be a standard, that they will rise to the occasion. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just like a pessimistic person, but when it comes to love, like optimism, like love conquers all, because I do believe that in some weird notion that love conquers all. I'm a big romantic. I believe that, if you want it, you'll fight for it, you'll go get it, but yeah, when it comes to your soulmate, when it comes to a preference, yes, I do feel that you could lose it for a preference, because it's not something that has any heavy weight. Like I said, like, oh, I want to date a guy that's doesn't exceed 300 pounds. Like, well, if he's 300 pounds and he really likes you and stuff like that, is he willing to lose the weight? Are you willing to help him lose the weight? Then yeah, then that doesn't even freaking matter anymore. You've lost the weight, and he's the perfect guy. He's amazing because he had all the mental, and now the mental matches with the physical. So you have the best, right? So 202 Kids says, good point. The Prince, thank you. So, let me see, what time is it? Okay. I don't know really what time I started, actually. I think I started a little bit before 9. But, yeah. So, if you have a standard, your standard should be, like I said, a standard is the minimum requirement. It is a requirement. Your standard is your requirement. So the basics, intelligent, hardworking, at least this is for me, this is what I feel like people should have on their list. I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything like that, but there's just certain things I feel that should be there, intelligent, hardworking, resourceful, honest, loyal, you know, giving. I have a giving spirit, you know. Hi, hello, welcome to Kaynichole After Dark. You know, have a sense of humor, you know. But then, you know, we all have our preferences. But in any case, in any way, I'm just letting y'all know that don't let your preferences blind you from the right person. Keep your standards high. Don't let somebody tell you to lower your standards. The only reason probably why they're telling you to lower your standards because they want to be able to have an opportunity to be able to fuck your shit up. Because I haven't met a person that has lowered their standard for somebody and it's worked out well. I'm just saying. Even if you have the standard of a person having a certain education or whatever, if he likes you that much, then he'll come back to you when he has his GED or when he has his diploma or whatever. And if he doesn't have it and he doesn't feel like he's worthy enough, then he'll drop out the race. But I feel like, you know, that is what you do. What do you think a man wants in a woman? What do I think a man wants in a woman? Outside of the standard, you know, he wants his peace and everything like that. I think that a man wants a woman that can hold her own, but still stand beside him and acknowledge his strength. And what I mean by that is that he's still the head of household. However, when she's able to, when he's not there, she's able to think. She's able to think on her own. When I talked to a friend of mine, and I feel the same way. Like, the thing is, if I die, will my legacy still live on? Will she be able to still remain strong, whether I'm not here or not? And I think that's what a man wants in a woman. I could be wrong, correct me, but I feel like that is what he wants. He wants someone that can continue to make sure that his legacy lives on, that she doesn't have to run to the next man to make sure that his kids are well taken care of, that she can run this shit, you know, as, you know, when he's not here. I think that's what it wants. That's what I think a man wants. And while he is here on this earth, that she is his partner, that she is faithful and loyal to him, that she's got his back, sides, and front, because when he's looking to focus, like, you know, he's out there focused and hunting lions and stuff like that, she has to be able to watch and see what's out, you know, what's further in the pride land that might attack him. So that's my thoughts. Kid question says, do you like light chocolate or dark chocolate? I like milk chocolate. MJ Redman says, which place is your comfort place? Which place is my comfort place? Or what place makes me most comfortable? I'm trying to, like, my comfortable place is my bed. Like, I love my bed. What brings me comfort, what brings my mind and my heart at ease is being outside in nature. So hopefully that answers both of those questions. I have another question. Most and least favorite season. My favorite season is summer. My least favorite season is winter. I hate snow. I don't like being cold. So yeah, those are it. 202 Kid says, I want a girl that's individualistic, not materialistic, body artistic, a little bit of lipstick. Okay. But honestly, 202 Kid, did I do okay? Because I mean, I'm not a man, but I try to, like I said, part of a Kaynichole After Dark is to build the bridge, to, you know, close the gap, so to speak. So is that kind of where we are with it? You know, did I answer kind of right? Because like I said, I'm still looking for my king. I'm still trying to, build myself up. Um, you know, so I want to find a man that can also help build me up, because I have, because of my background, I have dealt with a lot of, not insecurity, but a lot of doubt in myself sometimes. Like, just doubtful, just really doubtful. And I want a man, I need a man personally that's going to be able to push me and see my concerns and feel my concerns and still help me push through, and not be in my own way. Because oftentimes I am in my own way when it comes to pushing forth. So, yeah. Just Majesty said summer FTW. Oh, that's for the win. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know certain acronyms, so thank you. Summer. Okay. So, yeah. I love summer. I mean, spring, I was born in spring, so I definitely have an affinity for spring because things are being born and things are growing and stuff like that. But summer is when it's hot, because usually during my birthday it's still chilly, so not a fan of that at all. So, yeah. So tasty. So tasty. So back to what I was saying. So, yeah, maintain your standards. Do not lower your standards for anybody. But when it comes to your preferences, they can definitely be changed. Look at them. Because if they don't make or break you finding that true person, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's optional, So the only preference maybe is like if they're a smoker or something like that, But really, have a great night. You have a great night as well. Wonderful. But yeah, so I'm about to head out myself because, like I said, it's not going to be too long. But to give me 3 thumbs up. Okay, you actually did great. A woman that can support me and stand beside me, yet be strong enough to take the lead when I'm unable. Someone that's independent but not, can comfortably allow me. Just Majesty said, thank you for answering. Okay, sure. And to okay, cool. I did good. Yay. I did good. So yeah, so that's what I feel about this particular topic and having a standard. So to all those out there, maintain your standards. You'll find that someone, they'll meet your standard. And to hell with preferences, because they come and go. And on that note, I am going to bid y'all adieu. It's been a long day for me. So thank you for tuning in to Kaynichole After Dark. And above all, always keep your crown straight. Take care and good night.